So you're considering getting quail, but you're not sure if they're actually right for you. Well, there should be sign number one. Or you're trying to decide between chickens and quail. And so in today's video, what I'm going to be doing is doing a direct comparison, or somewhat sort of a direct comparison, more so a pros and cons list of quail compared to chickens. This here is Pine Nut, one of our males. He's going to be helping me out with, at least with the intro of this video. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. I'm actually going to be doing a quail cage clean out while I'm talking about the pros and cons of quail. Up next, we've got Peach. But first pro of quail versus chickens or hens is going to be space requirements. They don't require near as much space as chickens do, as far as the coop, the run, and everything like that. And also alongside that is going to be the type of enclosure that you can put. Oh, there she goes. Okay. So the type of enclosure that you put quail in versus chickens, you have a lot more flexibility with quail, as far as you can do like a greenhouse like I did here. You can do small movable cages. Some people have put them in aquariums inside their house. I don't necessarily like that, but it is possible with quail. Whereas with a chicken, you wouldn't be able to do that. So technically that was pro 1 and 2. Pro number 3 is going to be the amount of food that they eat. Now, quail do eat a lot, but they don't eat near as much as chickens do. We usually spend about $80 to $100 each month on food. That is their non-GMO grain mix, as well as any mealworms or grubs or anything like that that we decide to throw in there. As far as a direct comparison of eggs, they are pretty much just as productive as chickens. However, obviously their eggs are a lot smaller than chicken eggs. In my personal opinion, quail eggs do taste better than chicken eggs, but a lot of people say that they taste the exact same. So really and truly, it's just a personal preference on that end. Another pro of quail versus chickens is that, for one, they don't require any type of roost or nesting boxes or anything along the lines of that, which I guess that more so kind of depends on what you're wanting to do. It's just less work as far as building a roost versus not building one. Now, quail do really like to have hides, something they can get under. So you can build a nesting box of sorts for quail, as they do like to hide. Another pro of quail versus chickens, and they are not giving me a good example of this right now, they are talking it up, but typically quail are a lot quieter than hens are. You don't, of course, especially the roosters, you don't get any loud crowing in the morning, but also you don't have any loud barks or anything throughout the day. And also, while you're here listening to me ramble, if you notice my hat here, it's a hat I did design myself, and it is available on my little shop. So if you support the channel, that is greatly appreciated. Obviously, I'm not telling you you have to buy it or asking you to buy it. I'm just saying if you'd like to, it is there, and I really do appreciate it. Now on to the cons of raising quail. And honestly, these things have made me kind of question if I even want to continue to raise quail versus chickens. And it's not necessarily all of these things, because some of them are like, you know, it kind of comes with the territory, but others, I don't know, it's a tough road. I'm not gonna lie, raising quail is not for the faint of heart. Now, like chickens, quail can get sick very easily. However, I feel like quail get sick a lot more frequently than chickens do. This here is Goldie. And unfortunately, she's probably not going to be in too many of our videos, or at least not for much longer anyways. She is getting old. She is our oldest baby. However, she has kind of lost use of both of her legs. She can still move them. However, she has no control over them. She's not really in any pain as far as we can tell. When we first noticed this, we did have a vet give us some pain medicine for her. And she still drinks and eats just fine. I help her. I hold her up to the water bowl, let her eat. But it's just kind of one of those things with quail. They get kind of into that old age a lot faster than a chicken does. So she's only 4 years old, and she's already kind of experiencing that kind of geriatric features where Her feathers are graying out. She's losing her feathers. Her legs, like I said, aren't working as they were. Definitely sad to see, especially one that you raised from a chick or you actually hatched it yourself. So it's just, I don't know, just seeing them kind of get sick and old like this so quickly is really heartbreaking. Another con of quail versus chickens is that quail are really hard to domesticate as far as being able to hold them, pet them, and just really build a bond with them. The only one that we've really been able to do that with is Goldie, and even she isn't the best at being held. So unlike with chickens, you can actually, you know, build a bond with them. They do have great personalities. Quail are a little more on the primal side, I guess you could say. They do have some personalities. However, they don't like to bond with people at all. In fact, every time I come in here, they fly into the windows or the walls or just run away from me as quickly as possible. Another con, and this one is kind of up in the air because I'm not 100% sure about how much chickens do this, but quail, for some reason, they poop so much. I mean, you would think that they would not be able to poop this much with how small they are, but I swear every like 5 to 10 seconds, they are dropping a turd. And so as far as cleanup, we try to do it at least every 2 weeks, if not once a month. But I know with the deep litter method, as far as raising chickens, you can go, I want to say, to like 6 months without having to change out their bedding in the coop anyways. However, in here, we do have to clean it out quite often because it can get pretty stinky. And the last con I'm going to touch on here is quail are probably, and this is a nice way of putting it, quail are probably the dumbest animal on earth. I love them to death, but they are dumb. They look for pretty much any and every way to die. I've had one trap themselves under a rock. It wasn't even a rock, it's a paver that they dug themselves under the rock and then got stuck there. I came out and they were deceased. And there's a lot of times that I just come out here and there's just randomly a quail dead, no explanation. They're not egg bound or anything like that. They're not sick, or at least they don't have a contagious sickness that would get the other quail sick. They just die. And it makes no sense. It is very, like I said, heartbreaking as far as, you know, just coming out and finding one of your quail just randomly dead and you have no explanation as to why. In our greenhouse, we don't necessarily have to worry about this as much, but that's why we went for the high roof, because quail will fly straight up into a roof if it is about 6 feet tall, and they will break their neck. That's kind of their defense mechanism, is to just fly directly straight up. They don't care what is above them. They will fly straight into it. Now, Peach is really bad about flying into the windows. Now, luckily, she has not hurt herself yet, but I am worried that she's going to. But yeah, that is my little spill on raising quail as far as the actual truth behind it, because I wanted to be completely honest with you guys. I don't want you to get quail and expect it to be all happy-go-lucky, no issues or anything like that. See, here is Goldie. Still doesn't like to be held. Now, she is the nicest out of all of our quail. Now, here lately, probably because I've been having to hold her and water her, feed her by hand. I don't want to discourage you from getting quail either, because it can be a great experience. And of course, you get the eggs. And it really is nice growing something, especially from the egg, you know, watching it hatch, growing, and then eventually producing eggs and food. And I don't know, just starting your own little farm family, basically. Really and truly, it is up to you at the end of the day. I just wanted to give my honest opinion on raising quail. The pros, the cons, the good, the bad, and the ugly as far as raising them. Say a little bye to Goldie. Thank you for watching the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one. And as always, have a blessed day.